Welcome to the Eastside Story Podcast, brought to you by the Hope Center in Kansas City. This podcast aims to inspire you with stories of good work being done on the east side of Kansas City and to educate you on the unique and powerful perspective of its leaders and its residents. You're listening to the Eastside Story.
So tell me about Start at Zero. Not and I don't want to just hear about the organization, although we do want to hear about the organization. But I want to hear about like how you got into it, boots on the ground, the work you did, and now you're the executive director. I mean, that's a big deal. So tell me about like just what made you fall in love with the organization. What kept you in it in the hard times, and then how did you get to the point of becoming the executive director, CEO?
Yeah. So I heard about Start at Zero the first time. So Julia was, I need to get my dates together. So the first time I heard about Start at Zero was in the spring before Julia started kindergarten. So they had started a play group and I heard about it. So Janine Cook was inviting me to come to the play group. And I was like, I already got my thing with Steph and Kelly, you know, so, but that I would have went to that if I had known that existed because I needed a little bit more support. And so then I was like, no, it's not the right time. You know, I don't have time for it. And I told a couple other people. And so then when Julia went to kindergarten, the pilot was actually, or the first year was actually at HLA. Okay. And so she was there for kindergarten. And I heard about it. They sent the paper home because we're home visitors. And so what that means that we come into the homes and do parent-child interaction, development center parent to talk about nutrition, attachment, discipline. And then we do family well-being where we talk about recreation, enrichment, mental health, physical health, all of that. And so I was like, I don't need all that, and at the time, which is
it's
a
like
big
holistic overboard.
Right. And it was good, but I was like, I'm about to have this baby. Julia just started kindergarten. It was just like too much for my family, but a family like mine where you have your prenatal mom and you have at the time 3 little kids still at home because Julia was in kindergarten, Jay was in pre-K, but part-time. So it's like goal. Like we want those kind of things because we know they stressed. And I was stressed. Right. And so Angela, who's our founder, was like, hey, this is a great program. And I was like, no. And I also was like, I don't really want this white lady coming to my house because like, what are you coming to my house for? Because my context for a home visit was like social work. Right. So you're going to come and you're going to find
assess everything and find something wrong.
Right. And there's nothing to report on me. But I'm like, she's going to find something, And so I was like, I don't want her coming to my house. And
there was a lack of trust, like a gap there.
Yeah. And so, I was like, if she was Black, I might consider it, but still I'm too tired. And then Stephanie Answer, who's also part of a local church here. She wanted me to come and come to their parent association and do a talk. Okay. And just do a parent workshop. And I was like, okay. So she wanted me to come and check it out and to see how it kind of flows and then have me come back and do one. So I went and there was just like, it was up north. So there were immigrant refugee families. There were 3 different languages. There was interpretation. There was a staff member that was like newly pregnant, new to the job and newly pregnant. And everybody was like, oh, it's so exciting. I was like, oh, that's a good sign, And so I just loved what I saw. And then Angela said that they were hiring for a part-time parent educator. Okay. And so I said, okay, maybe I could do that. I would like to do that. And I had just also decided at that time that I wasn't going to go into academia to be a professor because you got to publish and all this. And I was ready to get out of school. So I just wanted to finish. And so I was like, well, what kind of job would I do? Because I like to be my own boss, and so, but I had never had like a full-time job or a job outside of academia. So I was like, I don't really know. I don't know if I qualify for stuff, but I know I got a lot of skills, but I just don't know if I qualify. And so, started the interview process and, thought that the wages were too low, and that's a big issue with early childhood and nonprofit work. And so like, I'm finishing this PhD, but you want me to take this kind of salary. And so I was like, you know what? We're good. We're in a place where our family is good and this gets me into the field more and, let's do it. And so I started August 1st, 2018, and just loved it. But then because it was a nonprofit, it's small. I got to get my hands in everything. Right. I got to learn a lot. And then Angela is a type of leader. I definitely like judged her, but she's the type of leader that allows for that flexibility.
Yes.
And allows
I remember you
to
telling me
empowered.
that towards the beginning.
Yeah. And I was just like, I got a lot of ideas and I had asked like, am I doing too much? And she was like, no, I love it,
Yeah.
And so she is that kind of leader. And so every idea I brought to her, she was like, yeah, let's do it, or let's try it, or not right now. And, so because of that, I was able to finish my dissertation, have 5 kids, and work this full-time job because of the flexibility. And we do something called reflective supervision, where we don't just talk about, the numbers and the data and what's happening, but we have intimate conversations about our work with families. And so because stuff comes up, so for the first time, as I started working with Start at Zero, I started seeing things from my mom's eyes as a single parent. So we serve a lot of different types of families, but we also serve a lot of single moms. And so that was triggering for me. So I was like, dang, she was going through all of this and all these barriers where families can't get resources and, housing insecurity and economic insecurity, can't find jobs don't exist. And she still made it happen.
Right.
And she still stayed with us and raised us really well, And so I started therapy, at that point, because I just had to work some things out. And so then I also just had this greater appreciation for my mom. And so I think what that really taught me, because I do look at mothers as leaders as well, because, we're leading our children, is that there's always going to be something your kids don't like about what you did or how you did it, but there's an opportunity to deepen the relationship and deepen the connections. And that's what happened with me and my mom, and then me and my children. I'm able to just take some different, and not be perfect. I'm not perfect. I don't have to be perfect, knowing that they're not coming out of this unscathed.
Right.
Even if I'm the best parent I can be, there's going to be something that, I didn't do well, and that I'm going to also be there to respond to that and apologize and, support them in their journey as adults, or, later middle school. Here's coming middle school.
Right around the corner. So when you think about being the executive director at Start at Zero, leading your staff, leading the board, everything that you're pouring into this as a leader. All right. And pair that with the fact that we're in a boxing gym right now. Okay. So we got a ring behind us. We got punching bags. So what are you fighting for Kansas City as a leader?
I think partnership is really important. And not in a false sense of the word partnership, but where people are actually getting on the same level and staying there, and not them versus us, this hierarchy. Because of course it's the board, then the ED, then the staff, then, and that's kind of how it seems to flow. But when we actually focus on partnering, kind of that dance, we focus on the give and take, the I'm trying to care for you. And so I'm not going to just power over you. Right. And so. And
you're talking about maybe the board or donors
or the philanthropic community. I'm hearing a lot of well, they're this and they're that, and we got to change and we got to shift. And I'm okay, what needs to change? What needs to shift? So having this.
And do they see value in the community already, or are they kind of coming in with preconceived notions?
Yeah. And am I coming in with preconceived notions? Because I lived, of course I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, but I lived in a lot of the ways that our families live here. And you come in and say you're at risk, you're impoverished, you're traumatized, and we're going to do this trauma-informed care. I didn't know. I mean, of course, language is powerful and important, but I'm not going to kids and families I'm going to bring this trauma-informed care to you.
Right. Let me tell you what you are.
Right. And so I think if we can all understand a strengths-based perspective on how we serve families and how we partner with them. We're not saying we're helping, we're supporting. And so what I love about Start at Zero, and I'm trying to have this sentiment throughout the organization, is that our parents, our families, they're the expert on what they want to do with their family. Yes. And they, of course, all of us need different types of resources and help. And so my families will get to the place I didn't have to ask you for help. And I was I ask people for help all the time, and I ask people to support me all the time. I just did a popcorn fundraiser for the kids, so I'm asking my friends to spend their money to make this happen for my child. And so who are you not to ask? And so this idea that it's supposed to be individualistic, it's supposed to be me and mine. I see that throughout, our organizations, and Start at Zero is not exempt from that. And so just trying to promote partnership, promote leadership as an activity, because it's not just about I'm the executive director, not quotes because I am. I'm the executive director, and this is how we're gonna do it. So I like to hear from multiple voices. I like for the work to be heart centered and not just fluffy heart centered. Like yesterday was the death anniversary of a mom that was in our program, Diamond, you know, and so she's a family, one of my first families that I worked with. She was prenatal. I took her daughter to her first prenatal appointments, or postpartum appointments to get her checkups, all of that. And so like, we've never shared that as like a mission moment or something that happened. And so I think that we have to be more authentic, and that authenticity is going to create more vulnerability. And through that vulnerability, we're able to actually partner with each other and truly understand where we're coming from on all levels of the organization. I don't even want to use the word levels, but on all areas of the organization. Yeah.
Okay. This is my last thing. But this is interesting. So it's easy to like keep going. Okay. So one thing that I really appreciate about your leadership is just creative ways that you found to make your leadership accessible to people. So when I think about like the women's retreats that you do and the ways that like you invite people to experience something that you love, like you love being outdoors, you love camping. And so you do these women's retreats where you are empowering women, you're encouraging women. And so there's like this accessibility to the creativity of your leadership. So I just want people to know, how do you get involved with that? And when you're done telling us about that, tell us the website for Start at Zero, just so people know where to find you, know how to collaborate with you and things like that. Yeah.
So I think a big part of my leadership is like trying new things. And so what people say is, I didn't know about that. I should have been like, I would have been there if I had known about it. I just made it up. I just started doing it yesterday. And so I think the confidence that I have to fail forward is what like makes it attractive. Right. And so that's just how I lead. And I don't think I know everything. I function, my friend says, I make my opinion fact, and I speak like that. So with a lot of authority. So people get scared of that, but then when they actually get to know me, they're like, oh, okay, like she be messing up. She's still trying to figure stuff out just like the rest of us. And I like want that to be the case. And so that's how we lead. We are only 5 years old. Start at Zero is only 5 years old. And so because of that, we have a lot of flexibility. Everybody on our team right now is a parent or like a aunt that's in the trenches, you know? And so like, we appreciate that too. And we thrive because of that. Because we all like, listen, couldn't get the kids out this morning and I'm here, you know? And so we show up to family visits like that. We show up to the board meetings like that. And our board, our team is also at our board and committee meetings. And so that's a big part of like introducing people to things that they didn't even know they had access to. So yeah, so you can find us, you know, startatzero.org. We're on Instagram.
Startatzero.org.
Startatzero.org. We're on Instagram.
And what's your Instagram handle?
Start at Zero KC.
Okay.
And Facebook.
And then do you want to give out your personal Instagram so people can see some of your journey? Oh yeah, they can find me.
I think it's public anyway. Dr. Jumesha Wade. Dr. Jumesha Wade.
Jumesha. Jumesha Wade. Wade.
You said Wade like that.
Wade.
That was good. I'm gonna start doing that.
Wade. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much for being a guest on here, and thank you for just having the courage to lead and having the courage to push yourself, having the courage to pursue your dreams, and being a great example to folks in our city. So we appreciate you. Keep shining, keep leading, keep doing you. God loves you. We love you, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, well, thank y'all for having me. We love the Hope Center.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in to the Eastside Story Podcast. To learn more about the Hope Center, visit us at www.hopecenterkc.org or connect with us on social media at Hope Center KC.